You're listening to the CIP podcast, the Study Abroadcast, Season 5, Episode 3. I'm your host, Jacqueline, and in this show, we'll explore the world of study abroad, offering advice, insights, and travel stories, bridging perspectives and cultures along the way. On this episode, we'll be speaking with a past University of Guelph student who participated in an exchange program and is now completing her PhD abroad. Let's get right into it. Today on the show, we're pleased to welcome Amanda. To get started, Amanda, can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and your study abroad experience?
Hey, Jacqueline. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to talk about my experience studying abroad. So I was born and raised in Ontario, just a couple hours north of Guelph, and I did my Bachelor's of Science at Guelph in molecular biology and genetics from 2017 to 2021. After that, I did my Master's of Science from 2021 to 23, and then I just started my PhD in June of this year, in 2024. So I did an exchange through the Study Abroad office in the third year of my Bachelor's in the winter semester of 2020. I studied at Aberystwyth University in Wales, which is in the cute little town of Aberystwyth, right along the coast. So I was only there from late January to mid-March, however, because of the onset of COVID-19 pandemic. But even though my semester on exchange got cut short, I was still able to make amazing friends and travel around Wales and England and really fall in love with that town that I was living in. And I just had such a great time, and I really treasure the memories that I have from the experience.
Speaking of those memories, so even though you were called home early from your study abroad in Wales, is there a favorite memory or experience that you have from your time that you did spend abroad?
Yeah. So I would say that the best memory I have is this whole day where it was a random Thursday in February. And it was so sunny, and it was that's kind of rare for Wales in the winter. It's beautiful compared to Canada because it's not snowy, but it's often cloudy. So we had this rare sunny day, and a couple of friends and I decided to go out and hike along the Welsh coastal path just after class one morning. And it's just such a beautiful trail along the coast. And we only got to hike the one segment because it was a couple hours and we didn't have all that time that day. But definitely, I want to go back and do more at some point. But yeah, just the hike was so beautiful. And then we were able to catch the bus back to Aberystwyth because even though it's kind of a rural area where Wales isn't very populated, they still have really good transit, which is awesome. And then after that, we made it back for this dinner with other exchange students. So we had kind of food and drinks with everyone and got to mingle and meet more people. And yeah, it was just a really fun day. And I feel that, I don't know, it also just felt super representative of what exchange kind of feels to me, just really kind of seizing opportunities when you're in this new place and getting out there and exploring and meeting new people.
That sounds like a great day. And I know personally I love the water, so the idea of being able to spend a semester by the water sounds so nice. So your next question is, what made you want to participate in a semester exchange program during your undergrad degree?
I think that one of the reasons that I pursued a study abroad program in my undergrad was because I wanted to experience a new country kind of in a more intimate way than just traveling normally. So the idea of living in a new country for an extended period of time, just it kind of gives you a much greater opportunity to really get to know a place, understand differences between there and home, and kind of get to know the culture of that city or country. And kind of as a bonus, because I was paying tuition to University of Guelph still, and not international student fees, it wasn't overly expensive. So it was kind of a good opportunity to stay abroad for a long time without incurring a lot of fees, extra fees that I would have been paying in addition to kind of living in Guelph.
Yeah, for sure. Traveling can be expensive, but having a home base in another country is really cool and a neat opportunity. So speaking of other countries, this past summer you mentioned that you moved abroad for your PhD program. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about where you are and what you're studying?
Yes. So at the end of May this year, I moved to Stockholm to do my PhD. So I'm here now at Stockholm University's Center for Paleogenetics. I'm studying the evolution of large mammals during the Pleistocene, the Ice Age, using ancient DNA. So yeah, it's just honestly like a dream program, and I'm so happy that I'm here. And like it's been such a great kind of past few months of like settling in and getting to know the city.
Would you say that your experience in Wales and studying abroad impacted your decision to pursue a PhD program internationally?
Yeah, I definitely think it did. Like, on one hand, I am in kind of a niche field, and Canada doesn't have too many options for studying ancient DNA. So I was already kind of thinking about potentially going abroad if I wanted to continue in academia. But on the other hand, like, I already had this experience of living abroad while doing school, um, kind of moving abroad, but having that foothold of being at university. So I feel like having that like familiar experience already just made it a little bit easier to like take that leap. Obviously, it's a much longer period of time that I'm here for now, but still, it definitely, I think, helped.
And so, like, I guess when you went to Wales, you had a bit of an experience of like adapting to the culture and the life of a different culture, different country than what you're used to here in Canada. And so, did that experience prepare you for your PhD in Sweden?
Yeah, it honestly, it really did. Like, definitely with staying abroad for a much longer period of time, like, there's different logistical work, especially when I don't have like CIP to kind of help with the transition. But yeah, no, I definitely had like the experience from going to Wales to kind of like guide me when I was here. I just feel like I knew better how to kind of like prepare mentally for like moving abroad, more like physically preparing like how to pack and things and kind of what to prioritize. Like that's definitely different between 5 months versus 4 years. But like I also know that I'd be coming home at Christmas. So just kind of like prioritizing what season it is. I don't know, that kind of thing, like when I'm moving. And then also just kind of like knowing how to help myself settle in. Just kind of things like, yeah, like getting out there, joining clubs, exploring the city, kind of I knew what to like take advantage of when I first got here, I feel like.
Yeah, that sounds great. And I think that like a lot of students who are listening, maybe they haven't studied abroad before. They don't know what it's like to actually adjust to a different culture, a different country. And so, how would you describe your experience adjusting to life and culture in Sweden?
Honestly, it's been pretty good so far. Like, I've been able to make a lot of friends through both things like with work on campus and then clubs that I've joined also off campus. And like, I was able to find a pretty nice apartment, which, sometimes in cities like Stockholm, housing can be a bit tricky, but like, I was able to get something lined up. So that's been good. And I've also gotten to like explore the city during the best months of the year, I feel like, kind of the summer here. And I'm definitely looking forward to like traveling around more in the country and picking up more Swedish. Like, I feel like that's one big difference between Wales and here is that there's a lot more people that, obviously speak Swedish as their first language. So while there's lots of English, that's something to adjust to. So I've been taking courses actually through the university. So that's been really fun too. So yeah.
Yeah, I know some of our exchange students who went to Sweden. They also took some Swedish language courses, and they just liked being able to like walk into a store and have like, those small conversations with people. Just helps you like connect with the community, I think. So your last question is, if our listeners are considering participating in a study abroad program or a postgraduate program abroad, do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, I definitely do. So I feel like, first of all, if you're considering a study abroad program, do it. Like, honestly, it was one of the best decisions I feel like I've made in my life. And I'm just so happy that I did it. And I really like think back on those memories from Wales, like really fondly. Um, but yeah, I would say second piece of advice, like more logistical, but save up your electives. So yeah, if you can plan far enough in ahead, especially if you're in like a program with a lot of mandatory courses, then you might have to do like an extra semester to kind of make up for it. But I was like, thinking about it in advance, and then I was able to kind of finagle my like arts or science like elective credits and save those. And then when I took my like French or biology courses in Wales, I was able to make those work for those elective slots. So sometimes that just takes a bit of forethought, but yeah, just kind of keep an eye on what electives you kind of have left, and that can really like make things more smooth when you get back. And then, yeah, once you're actually on exchange, I feel like a really big tip is like joining clubs. That's something that I did in Wales and like something that I've done here in Sweden. And like, I just feel like it's such a fun way to meet people and like make friends. And, you get to try new things, you could pick up new hobbies. And like, it's just a really like fun way to get out there and like explore the city, like on or off campus, like depending on what kind of stuff you do. So, yeah. But like, yeah, I would say most importantly, like if you're on the fence about study abroad, it's definitely worth it.
I think that's some great advice. And you gave people, different pieces to think about depending on where they're at. So that's all for our episode today of the Study Abroadcast. Don't forget to explore your own study abroad opportunities on the CIP website, uoguelph.ca/CIP, or follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is CIP_Guelph. Thanks for listening, and thanks to Amanda for sharing their advice, insights, and travel stories. Stay tuned to our next episode where we look to unpack the study abroad experience even further.